Greetings and welcome to yet another episode of Into Zimbabwe. My name is Liam Kaninga and I am your host. This week we are discussing women empowerment and thereby interrogating its points of departure. Where should it start from? How can we best normalize it in a society of modern day? To discuss this topic, I'm joined by a female scientist, a former female student leader, as well as a life coach and a motivational speaker. Her name is Neddy Tanga. Neddy, what are you made of? What makes you the Neddy Tanga you are today?
I would want to take this more on a personal level.
Yes.
So this is like what happened to me. I was very fortunate that I had lecturers, especially the female lecturers from my school. You know, they were very supportive.
Yes.
I had supportive friends, you know, and not forgetting my background as well. Because it's something that I was told by my parents. You need to understand what you're looking for in a specific environment. I had my lecturers, I had someone that I confided in. You know, as I was talking to you earlier on, I believe in mentorship. So I had people, you know, I could lean on. So yeah, that's basically it. So you need to have some form of purpose, you know. You need to understand why you're doing something and what is the end goal that you're looking for from that something.
The repulsive people. Mm-hmm. What do you think makes them think that way?
I would put the blame on society.
Okay.
You know, I feel like women are branded in a certain way. You know, the lady is supposed to cook, you know, women are supposed to get married. We are branded in a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, society expects us to behave in a certain way. Mm-hmm. They expect us to do things in a certain way. So I wouldn't really blame them. Mm-hmm. But I would blame their background, you know. Maybe they were exposed to that setup where the lady is the wife, you know. The only thing that you focus on is taking care of their husband. So when you get to be challenged by that same speech,
okay,
so it kind of undermines their intelligence. Though it's not the case, because at the end of the day, we're all humans, you know.
True.
We feed off the same information, and how we process information, it's, you know, that is what is very important. For me to be an engineer, it's your ability to solve problems. It doesn't matter whether you're male or you're female. If you're in a position to solve problems, that qualifies you as an engineer. Okay,
so next question is, if women empowerment is to be really taken seriously, how best do you think Zimbabwe can approach it, especially in a country where 52.3% of the population are females? How do you think would be the best way to approach it as Zimbabwe?
I would take it in two parts.
Yes.
You know, I feel like we're in a generation where there are a lot of mixed emotions. Mm-hmm. You know, we're in a generation where slave queens are dominating.
Yes.
We're in a generation where women empowerment is at its peak.
Yes.
So, speaking on this issue, I believe it begins at home.
Yes.
You know, I've got a little sister. You know, so I believe women empowerment starts at home. Mm-hmm. You know, how the parents or the guardians or the siblings or whoever is surrounding that child treats that child. You know, there's something that I admire about my father. He always tell us that do not focus on the beauty of your little sister. Tell her that she's intelligent. Don't only focus on telling her that you look pretty, you look pretty, you look pretty. You get it? Mm-hmm. Then also looking at a perspective now, you're trying to teach an old dog new tricks, you know. Mm-hmm. We've got ladies who are 24, 25, you know. It's now hard to adopt that element of being empowered, you know. So it has to come on a point where it's a personal choice, you know. You sit down, I sit down, I'm like, you know, I'm Neddy. What is it that I want out of my life? What is the value that I want to bring out of my life? So at this stage now, I believe it's more of a personal choice. You need to make that choice. I now want to take this path and this is what I'm deciding to do. So in as much as maybe we've got organizations that are focusing on women empowerment, we've got the government, you know, trying to bring that gender parity, you know, ladies pursuing science, it goes back to a personal choice and to a personal decision, and how well are these girls exposed to these things. Because, you know, if you grow up in like Gokwe, you believe that Gokwe is the most beautiful place that you know. But when you come to Harare or maybe you go to South Africa, you see things differently. So for me, at this age, I believe that women empowerment has to be more of a personal decision that you need to make as an individual. You know what, I'm deciding to do this, let me go for this. And you also need to be also in a position that you need to put yourself in a position where you need to learn, because it's hard to learn, especially, like, I can give an example. I'm used to being given money by my parents, then all of a sudden you need to start working. It's hard to move out of that comfort zone. So you need to accept that, one, I'm human. Yes, at some point I would want that need to have money coming easily to me, yes. But I need to remember of the end goal. What is it that I want out of myself? I want the best version of myself, and I want to give value to everyone around me.
In simple terms, you're saying women need to emancipate themselves first, like a change of mentality from the women themselves, and then it goes on to the other gender, we the men, in terms of how we perceive you and how we perceive women empowerment. Then my question is, what is the role of other women that have made it in life in emancipating other fellow women, like from your perspective as a young woman in Zimbabwe?
I'm a product of mentorship. I got to receive those awards because I had women behind me. Yes. So I believe that, there's always that notion, that she's my competitor, she's going to steal my light. This is my belief. There's a lot of space for everyone to shine. You just need to know what you're doing, and you need to master it well. So I feel like women, especially like those women with power, they should be in a position whereby where I need mentorship, they should also, share that information that they have with us. So to me, it's an issue of being open and also showing that they are humans at the end of the day. It's not always about your success story. You just need to show that vulnerability. Because I'm a human, I failed one or two things, and we also get to learn from that stuff. So yeah, to me, it's an issue of mentorship. I believe that women out there, they should be in a position to mentor young women.
So you mentioned something to do with power dynamics, where women with power have to give power or help those without power to get into power, or how women have to protect each other. So my question to you is, how do you measure the solidarity among women in Zimbabwe today in promoting women empowerment?
From my experience, I feel like most women, they do that through organizations. Yes. Like, for example, I've worked with an organization called OWSD, Organization for Women in Science, and there was another one by the name Elevate Trust, but the branch STEM Fem. Then there's also ZIE, WIE, so Women in Engineering. So this is something that I've noticed, they like the concept of collaboration, because they believe that the bigger, the better. Because at the same time, we're fighting for the same cause. But there's one person who really taught me how to help others. The lady that I mentioned earlier on when I was in first year. She's that person who was very honest with me. She acknowledged the fact that sometimes you don't have to be the interface of everything. Sometimes you just need to be the software behind what is going on. So she's that person that she didn't mind sharing the spotlight with everyone. And it just got to me, imagine if we had 5 more ladies like her. It's something to learn from. Though honestly speaking, women empowering women, even if we go on a more social level, is still not there. Because you discover that your worst enemy, the person who spreads the worst rumors about you, is another lady. There is no way you can hear a certain guy, talking about you. So the struggle is still there. Though I feel like in the STEM field, there is still, we haven't yet reached that point where I get a job invitation or I get a job advert and I can still send it to you. Because I feel like most ladies, they still want the spotlight on them. It has to be about me, it has to be about me. But at the same time, we forget that you have your own purpose, I have my own purpose. Yes, we might be in the same field, but we're pursuing different things and we shine differently. So yeah, that's my honest opinion on that. So women helping women, we're still there.
Okay, so in other words, you say women in Zimbabwean society still see each other as competition or competitors, such that they even sabotage each other or they monopolize the space. Is that what I'm getting correctly from your sentiments? And then what do you think should be done for us to improve that as a society?
The first point is you need to accept your uniqueness. And I feel like self-love is very important. You know, the moment you see yourself as an individual, as an entity, as someone who is unique, you're not really bothered by what the next person is doing. So I believe that if you love yourself, if you're confident and you're sure, you're very sure of yourself, what the next person is doing, you see it as a next step for women empowerment. But at the end of the day, we're all fighting for the same thing. So what should be done is women should love each other. They should be more confident, and you should never see the next person as competition. That's my point on that.
Okay, but here is another side of the story I need to interrogate with you is in many issues of women's success, like I told you, the reality outside in the corporate or the political world, it's competitive, it's nasty, it's brutish, it's full of many dirty stuff that happens. And women in most particular cases, some record victimhood. I'm not portraying you as a victim, but I'm trying to decipher if you have ever been a victim yourself in your pursuit of your ambitions as a young woman in Zimbabwe. So, Neddy, most women in the corporate, political, or even civic spaces of Zimbabwe usually have some dark stories behind, where they talk about how they've been victims of certain resistances or abuses by men or fellow women. And I want to know that you as Neddy Tanga, for you to be here, have you had that experience? If yes, can you tell me how you overcame it? If not, I want to know, I'm more interested in knowing how you've been protected from that, or how you have managed to protect yourself from that.
Smart men,
yes,
come from smart mothers and smart fathers. Yes. Same as smart women, they come from smart mothers and smart fathers.
Yes.
And I am a smart child. I come from smart mothers and smart fathers. And I can safely say that my mother and father, they've empowered me to be in a position that I can protect myself and I can look out for myself.
Wow, so literally you've been taught to protect yourself from all those things. You have been socialized into understanding your worth as a woman. So you as a female or as a young woman in Zimbabwe, what would you think, or what do you recommend other younger women should do to protect themselves? You know, how can we produce more people like you?
The key is knowing your worth, knowing the limit, understanding your value. Because if you understand your value, no one will have power over you. So sometimes I feel like, you know, what makes us victims is the issue of money. You know, I've got one lecturer that I admire so much. She told me this: Neddy, the reason you're going to school is because, one, you are trying to empower, you actually are empowering yourself, and two, you've got every right and every resource that will make you financially independent. So the key is you being patient and trusting the process.
Okay, so Neddy, you spoke about being patient and trusting the process. So we want to know, what is this process? Can you unpack it to us? What is this process?
The process, I feel like it depends on an individual.
Yes.
But my process was to go to school, to get my A-level certificate, to get my degree, and to look for employment. But recently, actually, I was listening to Arthur Marara. You know, he was actually telling us the importance of having so many streams of income. You know, so it's not only about me getting a job. It's about me looking for things that can give me the financial independence that I want. So that process is allowing yourself to accept that, yes, right now I'm earning $100. What can I do to earn $500? You know, you need to put that work into it. But the problem is, if you want, you know, the things that come easily and quickly to you, that's where we fail. That's where you become a victim, and that's where you give power to people so that they can control you. So that process is believing in yourself, understanding your journey. You know, it's not always where success comes from going to uni. You know, if you can choose to go through poly, either way, the path needs to be clear, and you need to understand how to get there and be patient during the process.
Okay, so the idea is just about you doing what you're supposed to do at a certain stage. No shortcuts. You should not be corrupt. You should not try and manipulate your ways into Okay, so what do you think, or how do you think Zimbabwe should do to create an environment that can produce more women like you?
It's two-way, actually. One, the young women should be in a position to learn and get more information. For me, I was fortunate because I was exposed. I got to meet powerful women at a very young age. So that's where you realize that the sky is the limit. So it goes back to that point where I said, if you grow up in Gokwe, you believe that Gokwe is the best place to be. But if you expose yourself, you understand that there are better things that you can do out here in life. So my parting words are, expose yourself, ask and learn from people. Sometimes there is no need for you to wait till maybe 20 years to live the journey that, Professor Ruth Ginsburg, there's this lady who used to do women empowerment issues, so that you experience what she fought, during that time. Sometimes you just need to ask and learn and Google and use the internet and learn as much as you can. The reason why I love Harare is because maybe due to COVID now, there are a lot of conferences that happen here in Harare, and not limiting to Harare. These days, actually, the world is going digital. There are a lot of webinars online. So I feel like you should be in a position to learn and gather up as much information as you can. And where you need help, you should also be in a position to ask for help.
So viewers, this was Neddy Tanga unpacking how Zimbabwe has been faring in terms of women empowerment and what they can do through sharing her story. And deductively, she says that women themselves need to play an aspect role of self-actualization, and there is also a need of societal socialization at micro level, that is at the household, teaching men and women to accept that equally men and women can be equal. As she said, smart women are produced by smart mothers and smart fathers. So as a parting shot, let's teach our children to empower each other. This was Into Zimbabwe. My name is Liam Kanenga. I'm your host. See you next week.